Okay, welcome Cowboys Nation for our new episode of Cowboys Corner. Again, we have some guests here, this time from the UK Cowboys fans. Hello, buddies.
Yeah.
Hello, how are we?
And you all know Philip by now, our
Of
new
course.
friend from the Big D Germany. And we have Thomas here, the founder of Big D Germany. So welcome all the guys, and it's really great to have you here and to talk about Cowboys football.
Yep,
Yeah.
absolutely. And once again, thanks for inviting us. And yeah,
Of course.
big shout out to Germany and big shout out to Dallas Cowboys. Big D Germany.
Yeah. And a big shout out to all the Cowboys fans in Europe, because we may as well just call this the European Cowboys.
Absolutely. Again, it kind of goes back to what we're saying. Not just America's team, it's the world's team, baby.
and we were talking for so long on social together, so I think
know.
it was like definitely about time.
At least 2 years we've been talking now. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, you were the one
you
last
guys...
year who hooked me up with all these like beautiful Cowboys fans in America. And
Kelsey, Meg, Jess Navarez, who all work for bloggingtheboys.com. So big shout out to them as well. But I'm so glad you managed to have a great time last year, Philip, because you went to a couple of college games, if I believe you're right. You went, was it Alabama, if I'm right? Was it
I go to
Oklahoma. Was it
Texas
Oklahoma?
A&M against Arkansas.
Arkansas, that's the one. Yeah, that's the one. I knew it was
was that last year?
It's like every year. It's like Texas A&M against Arkansas at Jerry World, and then a couple days later, it's the Dallas game. So this year, I'm gonna be at the Cowboys against Patriots again.
Nice.
So,
amazing.
Yeah. Texas A&M versus Arkansas. It always seems to be a sore game.
Yeah.
At the moment.
So, I mean, I think
don't even get me started.
Quite forgot to introduce you, everybody. We have two guys from the UK Cowboys here. We have Mike Poland and we have Paul Stewart. Maybe you guys want to say something about yourself and introduce you to our crowd.
Yeah, sure. So I've been working for bloggingtheboys.com now for just over 2 years now. And me and Mike have been working along with each other, building up the UK Cowboys fans group for how long have we been doing the actual podcast for? About just almost 5 years now.
Yeah, we're up to 5 years.
Yeah, so it just kind of started up just like any other fan podcast, just doing it for the love of the Cowboys, and it's just kind of grew, and that's what we're just doing now. So, and with that, we're now doing work for bloggingtheboys.com, and we're now doing work for one of our sponsors for Cowboys, for the UK Cowboys.
That's right.
There tonight. So yeah, that's it about me. But I've been a Cowboys fan since '95, and yeah, all because. And here's the interesting fact: all because of the Scottish Claymores back in the day and NFL. Yeah. So I remember the days when Frankfurt Galaxy used to destroy us. I remember those days because Frankfurt were back then. They were one of the best teams. Them and Rain Fire. Oh. You could never beat
Rainfire, yeah.
They had some amazing uniforms back then.
They really did. And like what I find crazy is that like when you think about they're like
probably coming back, you know that, right?
I hope so.
There is talking about that the Scottish Claymores will be in the ELF.
Yeah. And I just find it crazy that we've been having the NFL international thing going on in Wembley, but like to me, it's always made more sense that if they were going to start something like that, to start it in Germany.
I think I only hear half of you guys. Yeah. So you just said you become a Cowboys fan in '95. Yep. So you basically saw the good times, you saw the very bad times. Like Shungo told me once that because I became a fan through the dark Campo years.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Philip. This is why I have no hair left, because of the Cowboys. So there we go. and if I could speak for Mike himself, but sorry, Mike, you haven't even introduced yourself yet. Sorry.
No, well, don't worry. I'm going to say I got no hair.
But,
so well, let me join the club, please.
Yeah.
I still have hair, but they're great. But I don't know why. Not because of the Cowboys. How did it happen that you and Mike became members of Blogging the Boys, even if you're like from the old continent?
So it kind of started with us having special guests like RJ, for example. Like we had RJ on the show, and through last year, how it happened for me when I met up with Meg at the Kansas City game. That's where the first time I met Meg and Kelsey. Well, I met Kelsey previously before, but I met Meg for the first time, and we just had a good laugh together and that. And she recommended me to RJ, saying we could do a new show together. I think it'd be great, etc. And RJ contacted me and asked us, like, we'd love to do a podcast from an international perspective, try and get more international recognition for the Cowboys. Would you be interested? And I was like, yeah, sure. And he was like, so what's your payment details? And I'm like, I'm getting paid for it? Oh, sweet. And I would have done it for free as well, but don't tell him that. But yeah, sorry, Mike. No, on you go, mate.
I was letting you carry. I was going to say it's a similar thing where, he kind of like seen the work we were doing, and RJ just said, look, write for us. We need as much information as possible. And I do a lot of stuff like with college and the NFL draft. So it was like, come on in. And the same thing. I was like, yeah, what do you want? And then he was like, oh, yeah, by the way, it pays this much. I was like, oh, I'm just going to carry on as normal.
I tell you what, though, Philip, if you need any more information about regards to next year's draft, Mike is your guy. Like, honestly, the guy is... Sometimes it scares me how prepared he is when it comes to the NFL draft in college. It scares me.
Oh, always be prepared, mate. Always be prepared.
There's being prepared, and there's being like legitimately prepared, like you.
That's great, and I guess we'll have to talk then again next year before the draft to think about what are the best fits for the Cowboys, because within our fan group there's also a hard sell of draft kings and draftniks that really like to talk about the draft and who fits best where, and what are the best aspects of the rookies. So that would be fantastic if we can do a show together there again.
Yeah,
100%.
I think you guys, you may have reached out and said like, oh, do you want to? But like, I was just so swamped and busy, especially with the Blogging the Boys stuff. I think I was like, oh yeah, let's talk after the draft, and here we are.
No, yeah. Sure. That's always a very, very busy time. That's clear. But that's again why we try to reach out now, because OTAs are just over. Camp hasn't started yet. Yeah. So it's a little bit of time of breathtaking and having a little room to also bond together and get the European guys together.
100%.
Yeah.
I totally agree with you, man.
Yep. So Mike, when did you start becoming a Dallas Cowboys fan?
Me, I was reverse. So I was actually a Texas A&M Aggies fan before I was a Cowboys fan, through fault of family. And then obviously being a Texas A&M fan, you're like, oh, I need a Texas NFL team. So obviously with the Dallas Cowboys. And that started around about 1989. That was about.
Yeah, that was also the time when I started becoming an Dallas Cowboys fan. Yeah, I was at that time. I was playing
special
myself.
year.
Exactly, I was playing myself some football, and the Cowboys they drafted a young running back, which I absolutely liked, and he became quite a good addition for the Cowboys. So that was my path. Actually, I didn't want to become a Cowboys fan. I just liked Emmitt Smith in that days.
It's so weird you say that, because that was one of the other reasons that attracted me to the Cowboys. Not only their uniforms, the navy kind of matched the Scottish Claymores, but I was a massive fan of Emmitt Smith. So so I'm kind of like in a mixture of like a favorite player, and I've just embraced it as it came. And then I got to know the players. I became a big fan of the Great Wall of Dallas, the offensive line. Mark Tooney, Stepnoski,
like Larry Allen.
Yeah, all those guys, brilliant. And you hear John Madden commentating the games and the late night games. It's like, I love number 73. I love him, man. He's like big man football, you know?
Yeah. Whenever people talk about the line, the one I always forget about is Nate Newton, and you forget like how phenomenal he was on that line.
Amazing. He was amazing. I had the honor to actually be on the podcast with him years ago, and this was hanging with the boys. And their,
tell him about the hat too.
Oh yeah, yes. So, what year was that? 2018. Yeah. So
it was after the Jags played in Wembley.
Yeah, well, it was after, but the year I went over to wear the hat was 2018.
Yeah.
So, because you know, in Scotland we've got a wee like tartan hat with long ginger hair. I brought that as a little present for Nate Newton, and he wore it on the show. It was
amazing.
It was comical. So it was.
But he's such a big guy. He's a monster. He's a huge guy. It just looked like somebody put like a napkin on his head.
But here's the thing. I tend to find myself as a big guy. I mean, I'm 6'2", about 260 pounds, and I'm standing next to Nate Newton, and he's like,
he's huge.
I was like, I would hate to have played football against you, honestly. Like,
and what's funny is like they got him to lose weight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Amazing. Yeah, that was some crazy days. But when I started watching what was then called the World League of American Football,
yeah,
there was still the London Monarchs. They won the first season, and then all these expansion teams like the Rhine Fire or Claymores.
Yeah,
what the hell are they doing here?
Yeah, we had the Amsterdam,
Admirals,
Barcelona Dragon, Frankfurt
Galaxy,
then Rhine Fire. So there was like 6 teams, wasn't it? There was 6.
Yeah, it started growing because first we had these American teams that never panned out to have real success, like the Sacramento Surge and Orlando Thunder, I think.
That's it. Yeah.
And
all these
teams.
It's crazy when you think back now, because you had like players. What's the Hall of Fame? Kurt Warner. He played for Amsterdam before he got back into the NFL, and it's like it just comes to show you can still play at that level and still go to the NFL and actually make a big major impact. It's crazy.
It's like when you think about it. Say he didn't play in that league, nobody would ever noticed him, and he would never have been who he was.
Yeah,
never.
Great movie, American Underdog. He got kicked out at the Green Bay Packers, and that would probably have been it. He played these indoor league something, which we never hear here in Europe. But I don't think that would have been a major success. Some coach already said, I forgot his name. He was with the Admirals later. He said he got in a phone call with the St. Louis Rams and said them, you have to take him. And when you saw the games, he was playing in a different league. When he was on the field, there was no chance he beat the Amsterdam Admirals. Even if there were some other good guys too, but
I think the best way to describe Kurt Warner, he played as if as though he had nothing to lose. And I think that was his best attribute, like back then, because you had players at the end of their career coming to the World Series. Like you had the Fridge Perry going to the London Monarchs and stuff like that. You had other players. I'm pretty sure Andrew Luck's dad played in the World Series of football.
No, he didn't play. His dad,
he coached.
Coach, that's what it was. That's right.
He was the team president of Frankfurt Galaxy.
Yeah,
right.
Oliver Luck.
That's right. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
But that's a perfect thing. Having some standout players in the what was then World League and became the NFL Europe, and now we have these other leagues like XFL and USFL, and the Dallas Cowboys last year they took one guy from exactly
from the USFL,
from the USFL, and he became quickly a fan's favorite in the preseason last year when he did some great returns. But I think at least at the end of the season, you could see that he had already played in like 25, 30 games with the EFL and the USFL. So you could see a little kind of drop at the end of the season.
Yeah,
So
I think he was burned out. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Don't forget college too. He was playing TCU.
Exactly. He didn't have a break in between. He went from college to these other leagues and then directly into NFL. So what would be our next question is, what are you looking forward for Oxnard for the training camp, which is almost in 1 month time from now? So what are the biggest battles you're looking forward to?
The biggest battles. Oh, the biggest battles. I want to see how Tyler Smith compares to Mazzy Smith.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I want to see that, and I want to see how Deuce Vaughn develops. What are we going to see from this very uncommon type of running back, the shortest running back pretty much ever drafted? How is he going to fit into the mold, and how we're going to expand from that to this Texas Coast offense? So that's what I'm really excited to see.
Yes, it's got. I think at the top of the list, at the very tip, there's quite a few, but I think at the very tippy top is the offensive line shuffle. Who's playing where? That's the big one.
Who's playing where, and basically who can fill in we are all talking about the left guard spot, which one option could be Tyler Smith.
I think that's what it'll be.
Yeah.
If Tyler is one of the tackles, then who will fit in for the left guard spot? And that's a pretty big question on Blogging the Boys too. There was an article, I think a week ago or something like that.
Yeah. It's the biggest question mark within the Dallas Cowboys. It's like, what is going to be our starting offensive line? Like looking at the prototype of it, you could excuse me, you could easily say Tyron Smith at left tackle, Tyler Smith at guard, Bayadish, then Zach Martin, then it would be Terrence Steele.
That's how I would do it.
But if one of those guys to drop down, who's going to be the next man up? That's the question.
Yeah, and
I don't think. Oh, go on, mate. Go on. You go.
No, just the question, and for the fans out there listening, what's your opinion? Is Terrence Steele back as right tackle for the start of the season?
Oh, I hope so. I think so. I think so. I think he will be there. I know he's going to miss the majority of training camp, I believe. I could be wrong, Mike. He is going to miss
He's on schedule to be ready for camp, but that doesn't mean to say he's like with the starters at training camp.
Yeah,
he's working his way back in.
He can still participate in mental reps, but not actually take in like full on contact or anything like that. So they'll utilize him in training camp, like saying, "Okay, this play. This is your just running through the motions. There's no need for you to get your pad or your helmet on." So I think that could be how they're going to treat Terrence on this. So he is going to be an important player for us this year, 100%, and we're seeing the massive development boost from him since he's been working with Duke Manyweather, the offensive lineman a coach who's like an independent guy who has been featured on DallasCowboys.com a few times, who's been helping like Bayadish, helping Terrence Steele, and you see the difference in them since they put the extra weight on, their technique's gotten better, and don't forget we've got a new offensive lineman coach in as well. That's going to be a big bonus as well. A guy with 40 years experience coaching the offensive line.
Yeah, and I think it's not so important that he misses time because he already played with Zach Martin on his side. He already got thrown in and started. Okay, the first season was kind of rough, but he was an undrafted free agent starting for the Dallas Cowboys at left and right tackle in his first year. So he knows how to play with these guys. So if he cannot physically be part of every training, in the beginning at training camp, I don't think it's that important that he misses time if he's then ready for the start of the season. I also heard the same as you, Michael, that he should be ready for training camp and then the start of the season. But then there's the next question: how many games will Tyron Smith play?
Yes, there you go. You completely nailed it on the head. I think it's not so much the issue of who the starting five are for week one. It's who are the starting five and where do they play later on in the season, because it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when with Tyron Smith. So I think once that happens, because the other thing is what if Terrence Steele comes down again? You know, what if Tyron Smith plays a full season and it's Terrence Steele who's having the issues staying healthy? So these are the two it seems to be both tackles that completely. Because you're not moving Zach Martin and you're not moving Biadish. So what it is it's where do you put in Tyler Smith and what are the contingencies with Tyrone Smith or whatever happens with Terrence Steele? And that's the big shuffle. That's the big question. And that's what we'll find out in camp.
Totally agree. And just to answer the actual question, I think based on previous history with Tyron, I'm going to say 13 games at best. Then after that, I think that's it. Like, cause I don't think, because if history serves me right, I think it's been 7 seasons now in a row now.
2015.
2015, yeah. So that's
the last full season.
That's the last full season Tyron Smith has had. So it's a big question mark. So
I would be really happy with 13 games, especially if the last 4 or 5 games come in January and February. But let's see about that. Who would be your front runners for offensive linemen 6 and 7, or guard and tackle?
Oh, good question.
Well, let's go. Would be a nice right tackle to keep, and that guy is like one of the guys you want first off the bus too, because he's just a mountain of a man.
Yeah, and he's a prototype swing tackle as well. He's a prototype. Like his athleticism for a guy that size is ridiculous. Well, I think, remember, what was it? He had one of the highest RAC scores going into the draft.
One of the highest RAS scores. Yeah, like 998 or whatever it was.
998 for offensive lineman. That is ridiculous. So,
but I think though, right? And tell me what you think, because I was thinking about this the other day. You know, you were saying swing tackle there, Paul. But what if, because of the question marks you've got on both tackles, what if there is no swing tackle this year? What if you have a backup right tackle and a backup left tackle? And that's the way it's going to go. And your backup left tackle could be Josh Ball.
Ooh.
He has been, from what I've been told, like he has improved. Like, he has kept his head down. We're not hearing any bad feedback.
No negatives.
There's been no negatives with Josh Ball, so it could be one of those ones where, fair enough. But I think if it was to happen to the guard position of moving Tyler Smith to tackle, I think the first choice would be Chuma Odoga.
Chuma Odoga,
I think he would be the first choice to slot into the guard position and have Tyler Smith out to left tackle, if that's the scenarios that we're playing here.
Because ironically, he's a really good offensive lineman. He just hasn't had a chance. Even in college, he just kind of keeps getting injured.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yes, this will definitely be a very, very interesting camp for the offense lineman. And I also have some faith in Asim Richards, but I think he just needs... I just think he needs a full year of training and good NFL peanut butter, as Watch Lombardi always calls it, to get to this NFL strength, to develop into an offensive lineman for the future. But there are also other camp battles I'm looking forward.
Big time.
For example, one thing we all want to know is what the F is happening at kicker.
Yeah.
I've even thrown my name into the hat because I could kick a ball no problem, but maybe not in the accuracy. But I can definitely hit it down 50 yards, but maybe not between the posts. But I have no idea what we're going to be doing with kicker. I just hope we bring someone in that is consistent. If they're consistent, I'm happy. I don't care who it is, as long as they're putting the ball between the posts. That's all. That's all that matters.
Don't forget, like last year. I wouldn't know. I've seen Paul run.
Well, I used to play defensive line and O line, so yeah, I can run. So,
but I think they'll bring a vet in definitely, because you got to think this is the exact same process they went down last year. Last year was like, what is going on with kicker? And they kept leaving it, and before you know it, we're right back where we started, and turned out to work out all right for the Cowboys in the end.
Yeah, I think he had a really good season, but I also can understand that if a kicker hits such a wall, such a psychological wall, then it's also good to move on to give him and the team a fresh start, because if he constantly misses in these clutch moments, then the other teammates they don't have, and also the coach, they don't have real faith in him.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a shame in a way. It's a shame for Brett Maher though, because he was having a great season. He was Mr. Reliable, but it really came to those key moments. The pressure got to him, and that's unfortunately with our fan base, we highlight the negatives more than the overall positive. He's been great, but at the time we really needed him, he didn't do the job, unfortunately. And it's a shame because he was having such a good season, and that Tampa Bay game, it really late in the season, it started to affect him. So so we just need someone that has a more of a cold head, doesn't apply to the pressure and can actually execute the kicks properly. So that's all we're asking.
And I'm trying to be here really neutral, but it happened now the second time. He had a great season. He had these great 60-yard kicks when he was on his first stint with Dallas, but then he constantly missed shots, and that was not even in the postseason, so it was not even in critical moments back then. So I can understand to move on. I think he had a great season. I would have also understood it if they invite him again. But I'm kind of thinking two ways now. Once they said they want to have a veteran, so maybe they are looking into some Nick Folk or Chris Gonzalez to get released from their teams. They all brought in young kickers to compete with these veterans. And the other side would be the USFL. And for our German guys, our German fans, they are always asking for Dominik Eberle.
Hell.
Hey, I'm just saying the fans here in Germany, they ask for him. I don't think he fits for Dallas, because Dallas and Fassel and McCarthy, they always look for a guy with a strong leg. And that's the only thing that Dominik Eberle doesn't have. For kickoffs, he doesn't have a strong leg. So
that's important.
Yeah, that's important. And that's one thing that Dallas prioritize. So Aguilar and what's the other guy?
Is that? Yeah, I tell you, another guy who's available on the market is Robbie Gould. Whether he plays
I was just about to say, even though he's 40 years old, but he can still do the job. And but I was going to say Matt Gay, but he just signed with the Colts for 4 years for 22.5 million for 4 years. That's a lot of money for a kicker.
Yeah, I don't think Dallas will spend big on the kicker. Robbie Gould,
don't want to.
Yeah, Robbie Gould didn't really do the kickoffs with the 49ers, but they had a punter who could do the kickoffs. And at least from what I know, that wouldn't be the situation in Dallas. Dallas would need a third special teams player which cannot do another job, and I don't think they are going for Robbie Gould, even if he would be really reliable.
His kickoffs are a problem, and it's not something that shows on the stat sheet either. Is kickoffs, and it is an important part of the kicker's game.
Special teams are special. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, and Fassel is really eager to have a guy where he can do some special things on special teams with the kickers, with the watermelon kick and what he's done with Zurline. Yeah, but moving on from kickers, because like Tom Downey always says, kickers are barely human beings or barely NFL players. They are not people.
So hurtful.
Yeah, I think they are. Everyone in this roster is a fantastic athlete, so that's a little bit harsh, but I think it's kind of funny. But what are the other battles that you're looking forward? One thing would be, I guess, running back. Who will help Tony Pollard?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And do you think Zeke has a shot in Dallas again?
Never say never. Never say never.
Yeah. I'm saying never. He's not coming back.
I don't think Zeke actually really. I think Zeke doesn't really want to play for another team unless it's a really, really good enough offer. Like he's willing to make adjustments. He did want to make adjustments to his contract to still be part of the team. So I don't see I think his doors are open to come back. It's whether if Jerry wants to do that.
Yeah,
I think.
But
I'm just going to say, if he comes back, great. At least we've got if he comes back, great. You've got a power back that can actually help with the pass protection as well. Because I will say this: you can talk about Derrick Henry, Dalvin Cook, and all these other running backs, but out of all those running backs that can actually help protect your quarterback and pass pro, Zeke is the best running back to do that as your last line of defense for your quarterback, hands down. He's better than Derrick Henry, better than Saquon in terms of that. As an overall package, I think Zeke is one of the best overall packages of a running back. But the problem is with running back, there's an expiry period of you're getting the best out of them, and Mike, you've been very strong about this. It's basically within your first 5 years in the NFL, like in your first contract, pretty much.
Yeah, your rookie contract. If you look at all running backs, the rookie contract is the one particular piece of a running back contract that's the most productive. After that, it goes into decline, which is where the Giants are going to get now with Saquon Barkley.
Yeah, and also just to add in as well, it's like we're seeing other teams taking different directions. We saw Kansas City having like a running back by committee with running backs who are journeymen or rookies are very, very low.
They're all going down this road.
Yeah, and even the Eagles as well. The Eagles did that last year as well. Like, even though they have a running back as their quarterback, but you're seeing other teams applying. Okay,
like look at the Vikings.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, and the funny thing is, Dalvin Cook. It's the same situation. They are handing over to the young backup running back, but Dalvin Cook, Zeke Elliott, and Leonard Fournette, they all are 27 turning 28 when the season begins, and that's exactly the same age when Dallas cut DeMarco Murray when he was the leading rusher in the NFL. So there's this famous talk about the study that Dallas secretly or not so secretly did in, I think, 2015. So it's don't put a lot of money in the running back when they are turning 28. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing in total, because even the good young running backs, they are not getting a lot of money. The best deals are the franchise tags, where Tony Pollard is now, and he's the only one who signed it. I think Barkley and Josh Jacobs haven't even signed their
they're making a stand.
So it's really these running back by committee, or just give me whoever's out there. It's for real.
I think the question is like, how do you feel about our running back group right now? Because I'm not particularly worried, because we just don't. The reason I'm saying I'm not worried, because it's the type of offense that we're going to be doing this year. It's going to be more like complementary for Dak, I would say, in certain aspects. It's not going to be very running back heavy as we used to do, I would say. So I think with a different dynamic of style of offense, I think it's going to work and benefit to our running backs. But my question is, how do all you guys feel about the group of running backs we have right now, from Tony, Deuce, and God, what's his name?
Rojo.
Rojo and Malik Davis.
Yeah. Thomas, Philip, what are you saying?
I'm really not sure about Rojo so far. I mean, his best times were like, 3 years ago? And since it's like heavy on decline, so when we signed him, at first I was like, okay, another camp body and he's gonna be gone. After training camp, we're gonna cut him. I was like, maybe Zeke is coming back. I mean, I think we're gonna use more like this approach of running back by committee this year. But I'm still not convinced of Ronald Jones. I think Malik Davis will get his touches. I'm heavy on him. He's gonna have a breakout year. With Deuce, I totally don't know what to expect. I view him a little bit as a gadget player, like we had it last season with Turpin. A little bit. I'm also thinking we do that more with Turpin this year. Use him a little bit more like that, but. I'm not that concerned. We have TP and we're good. And I'm still thinking there is a chance that Zeke's gonna come back. I'm gonna pound the table hard on that. We're gonna have Zeke no matter what.
See, this is why I love you, Philip. This is why I love you, mate.
It's just too much optimism with me,
that works.
No, he's not coming, but I want him.
I mean, I'm not saying I don't want him to come back. I'd love to have him back. I don't see them doing it. The only way I think Zeke comes back is, say we get to and he's still available, he's still on the table, and you get to say the second preseason game, and they're using the running backs to have a look to see what they got, and they're not happy. Then I think they go, right, let's quickly bring Zeke back. He's our break glass in emergency sort of deal. But I don't think they will bring him back. Only in emergency, I think it will be.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
it also depends on how the market will be.
That too, yeah.
The market is really low on running backs. It's I view it like you. Second preseason game, if everything's hit, maybe they bring him.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's more like a dream. Reality.
Yeah. I even think I've seen in the news that the New England Patriots have said they're interested, and they would be willing to go up to about $5 million on the year.
I hardly believe that Bill Belichick is not known for spending big on running backs.
Oh, no.
Spending big on most of the positions, but I think Zeke has a shot there, because he could really fit in this, especially pass protection and doing other stuff than being this exciting breakthrough running back that we saw from Pollard last year. And on the other side, I'm fully with you guys. I think we see a lot of all these running backs that we have there, and maybe they invite a few people more on the cheap, because we already committed to this 11 million almost for Tony Pollard. That's why I think there won't be a big deal like a Delvin Cook.
Yeah.
If he's still asking for 7 million, even Zeke for 5, I think is too much.
Yeah.
3, maybe the sweet spot and the maximum they would spend on a running back. But I'm really expecting to see a lot of the running backs, because if the Cowboys play smart, they don't need Tony Pollard out there in the preseason games. They should give him all the time to rest.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Dallas is known for not hurrying people back to on the field after big injuries. So I'm really not expecting to see him on the field in the preseason.
Definitely not.
Yeah, I think the only time we've had to rush someone back was obviously Michael Gallup last year.
Yeah.
But that was a bit of an emergency. We had to kind of bring him back. But it's so interesting that like we're talking about like these running backs, and I'm very intrigued to see what we are going to do with like Deuce Vaughn. And for me, the comparison for him, even though it's a different position, but remember how we utilized Cole Beasley, like. That small, like we used them as certain.
Of a Lucky Whitehead.
Or Lucky Whitehead, yeah, that's a great example, mate. Great example. How we utilize some of these wide receivers. I think that's going to be the exact same scenario when it comes to Deuce Vaughn as the running back. He's going to be there for
exactly.
So I think Dallas have tried to cover all different scenarios going forward for this Texas Coast offense.
I think the way that. Oh, go on, mate. Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt.
Please, Mike.
All I was going to say, just to finish, I think the way that it's going to work is the way to look at it is Tony Pollard's RB1. He's going to have RB1 type snaps, say around 250 to 300. You know, we can fiddle about with those numbers. Then all the other running backs, which includes Hunter Lipke as well. I'm going to include him on that. Yeah, that cluster there, those group of guys, they're RB2. So they're all fighting, depending on what they want to do, depending how they want to utilize these other four running backs. That will be your RB2. They make up all the other snaps then.
Yeah, and I really guess we see. That's great that you mentioned Hunter Lipke, because he's also this type of also catching running back. And if you watch the Kansas games from Deuce Vaughn, you saw a lot of wheel routes, angle routes, Texas routes to catch the ball, even in the middle in traffic. He's very small, but he somehow always finds a way to catch the ball in traffic between these guys, and then the guy, he doesn't have to slow down to turn. I don't know how he does it, because you can be small, but still usually people need to bring the speed down when they do a quick turn, but he doesn't slow down, and that's where the defenders lose him. They don't get the angle because you have to get really low, and when you're really low and the guy in front of you does such a quick turn, then you miss the tackle, you lose the guy. And I hope we see a lot of that, because that would be fantastic. And maybe a final word, if you don't have something to add, I really hope to see that we don't have so many first down runs like we had with Ezekiel Elliott. Because it's Mike McCarthy said, I want to run the damn ball, I want to run more, but I'm pretty sure he didn't mean I want to run the ball on first down like Kellen Moore did
every
the
time.
last 2 years.
Yeah, it was almost too simple to figure out how the Cowboys were going to start every game.
It was getting that a little bit predictable. I have to admit. But just to add on top as well, I'm actually very excited about Hunter Lipke as well. I'm very excited.
Yep. The only thing is, Hunter Lipke is not the kind of finisher in the middle between the tackles. That's what I really hope that he can show us more there. But it didn't show on tape for North Dakota when he was in college.
Yeah, I think people are kind of sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt again. I keep doing that.
No, I think we.
I was the only one talking. Was this? Oh, right. I was going to say, like, because a lot of people talk about Hunter Lipke as this power back, that's going to make these big runs down the middle. He's not actually what he's known for. Like you already mentioned, what he's more known for is his blocking isn't bad. You can't say it's good, but it's not bad. It's fine. It's good. It works. But he's more known for the Bisons as being a receiver out of the backfield, and that plays into it. And I think he can do it, and I think that's what they're going to try and make him do. They're going to make him be the blocker and the receiver out the backfield, but they're going to try and sprinkle in, and they're going to try and make him do some of the power work, because they need it. They need somebody like that, because otherwise it's going to be Ronald Jones who's doing that job.
for sure. He's more like a Kyle Juszczyk than a LaDainian Tomlinson or a Jerome Bettis.
yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, but I'm excited to see him. I was hoping to get him throughout the whole draft period. I was excited. I was like, come on! And all my mock drafts had it finishing with Hunter Lipke.
Yeah, maybe I have one big question: how you see it on the defensive side of the ball. I know we all love. Or by now, I think more people are happy with the pick of Marcy Smith. But what I'm really interested to see is the linebacker position.
Yeah.
Because we have LVE. He was great and quite healthy last season, but he has a record of being injured. We have Damone Clark, who I think did a really great job for a rookie that missed all the offseason and half of the season, coming from a big injury and doing quite well. Even the games when LVE was out weren't as good at the linebacker position, but for him being kind of the only experienced linebacker at that time, he did quite well. But what is next? We are still hoping that Jabril Cox will add something, and then we drafted DeMarvion Overshown. So how do you see the linebacker position? Is it deep enough? Do we need to have a look out there, or?
Go on, Paul. You go first, mate.
I'm actually going to say, I think for the first time in a while, we're actually okay with linebacker. Like there could be maybe an extra player we could add in for more depth, but I think as a collective core, we've got a really good range of linebackers. Like you've got LVE, whose lateral speed is ridiculous. You can actually come down from to the blitz. You've got Damone Clark, who can drop back into coverage and stuff like that. We saw how effective came back from, what was it, major back surgery or something like that he had?
Spinal injury.
Yeah,
a spinal injury, and he still managed to make the football field that year. It's remarkable. So I'm really excited to see with a full training camp, full off season for Damone Clark, and see what he
training
can
with
do.
the firsts.
Exactly.
Yeah, but you did mention your guy Jabril Cox. I think that you kind of, and you have to do it with Gallup too, is that they both had big ACL injuries and late into the season, and that kind of played into last season. So, like, there's a difference between being medically able to play and being football ready to play. And I think both for Cox and Michael Gallup, that they were medically okay to play, that the injury wasn't bothering them, but they weren't football ready. Like, and most players in the NFL will tell you this, and Paul will tell you as well, that an ACL injury, you can be fine from it a year later, but to be back to how you were again takes another year before they're right back where they started. And for a guy like Jabril Cox, when you think he's this, he's very much this new wave of coverage type off-ball linebackers that predicate a lot of their speed, their acceleration, their agility. And a guy like him suddenly has that taken away from him because of an ACL injury. You take away what made him special. So you can't play a guy like that on the field. This year, though, after a year removed from it, the same guy, you could see something different. There's a big question mark because we don't know where he's going to be at. But I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt to be fully recovered from that injury and to play back how he was. And Paul loves the Jabril Cox. I'm surprised he didn't mention him, Paul.
Sorry, I get my connection keeps on dropping for some reason. So I was going to mention Jabril Cox, but
sorry.
But you got me covered, dude. You got me covered.
And one more thing about DeMarvion Overshown. When I see him play, I see a lot of Wilson in him as well. These kind of hit and seek missile that sometimes misses a tackle, but if he hits, you don't want to be the ball carrier at that time.
I think. Go on, Paul. Go on.
I was going to say, I think we kind of need more of that, to be perfectly honest, because that's going to strike the fear into those ball catchers, like wide receivers and ball carriers and running backs. They're going to be very apprehensive of taking a hit when you've got likes of Wilson and Overshawn on the field, it's going to be very interesting. It's going to be a fun season for this defense.
I think what the Cowboys are looking to do with Overshawn is to make him the next J-Ron Curse. I think that's the plan.
Yeah, I had the same impression. When I saw him, when you read into his details, what he's done in college, he has been a safety first, and he has been converted to linebacker during the COVID year, which was while he struggled a little bit in 2021. His first year when he got transferred to be a linebacker with the COVID year where he couldn't really train that position. But he did quite well in 2022, I think, and he can cover really lots and lots of green. So he's really the one who flies from one side to the other. He can blitz, like also Jaron Curse did a little bit, or Wilson also does a little bit. So I'm really interested to see what he will be doing. Maybe he also needs some time. I don't expect him to be an impact player from the start of the season, just because
special teamer.
Yeah, the Cowboys also take it a little bit slow to bring these guys on the field. The coaches, I think they have to trust them first, so they need a little bit time in training to prove they are worth to be out on the field. And the other thing, I mentioned him briefly, Marcy Smith, together with Hankins and Osa, I think this middle of the defense line will help the young linebackers as well, because they will slow it down for them. They will take away some of the offensive blockers, so they have more time to take everything in and to react to the play. So hopefully this helps as well.
Yeah, definitely for a guy like Leighton Vander Esch, and I think that's why the problem is that you've got to keep a guy like LVE clean, because you go back to his days at Boise, that they're not taught there how to take on blocks. They're taught how to like avoid blocks and get around them. So when the middle of your defensive line aren't taking on those blocks, and you get an offensive lineman breaking into the second level, because in LVE's mind, he's like, I've got to get around this block. Well, that's just creating more space for the runners to run through, for your running back. So when you've seen it with Hankins, that when Hankins could anchor in the middle and be the immovable object, that helped LVE, because now he's free to float around and get to the ball carrier. And it was a double-edged sword, and it worked so well.
Exactly. So I'm really, really looking forward to see them guys out on the field again, and to see what the young guys and our new guys, also like Cooks and Gilmore, what they are doing out on the field. Anything about the team, or what you are looking forward, or shall we move on to the next topic of seeing the boys on the field again?
Yeah. The only other thing I'll say that I'm interested in looking at is wide receivers 4 to 6. That's the only other point. We're like 1 to 3, totally fine. I'm not afraid of that. But it's what's happening with wide receivers numbers 4, 5, and 6. What's going to happen there? That's the only other point.
I mean, where is Tolbert?
Yeah. Tolbert, Fahoko.
It was obvious that like year one will be Tolbert. I think there were a lot of people who were like kind of not okay with his performance, because after camp, I think there were people who were like expecting more.
Yeah.
But basically all knew that it's going to be a tough year. But now season 2, he has to prove himself. And I think he has everything what he brings to the table to be wide receiver 4. But it's going to be one of the more interesting camp battles to me, like where he's actually going to be at.
Mm. And on this Texas coast, you're going to need that, because it's a lot of quick formations that are all looking fairly similar. You're just moving personnel about. You're just floating them about, with the West Coast. So it's all very similar guys. You're just moving them in and out with lots of variable routes. So, and it needs to happen. And you think as well that, say Gallup isn't up to speed, that he is still behind in terms of recovery? What if Brandon Cooks is still trying to pick up the playbook? What if CeeDee Lamb gets an injury? Like all these things, like you need those wide receivers behind them, like those 4, 5, and 6 wide receivers, to be able to step up to the plate and take over. And at this stage, you're kind of like, because you go Simi Fehoko, what's he done? You go Jalen Tolbert, you still don't know. Turpin, you kind of like, you don't want him as a centerpiece of the wide receiver core in that particular case. It's kind of like, so it's like so many question marks in terms of the depth of 4, 5, and 6. You need something to come up to the plate.
100%.
Yeah.
I just guess there's. I'm quite confident in the receivers, because last year we were looking into what about wide receiver number 2? What is Gallup ready to be number 2?
Yeah,
now
exactly,
we're talking with 1 year more of recovery. You already spoke about that. So now, can he be a wide receiver number 3 with 1 year more removed of the injury time? Cooks has shown at every team. Yes, he has been on a lot of teams, but he nearly everywhere he made a big impact in year 1, and for every team he produced a 1,000-yard season. So I'm very confident there. Now we are talking about maybe and with Gallup we had talks. Is he a number 1B receiver? So we are not asking him even to be a number 2. We are asking him to be a number 3.
A solid
and then
3, yeah.
Solid 3. So I think we are quite well there. And then we are looking into 4, 5, 6, like you said.
Yeah.
Okay, we have now a lot of darts on the table. We also drafted, kind of late, but they have some interesting features there as well.
Jalen Brooks, yeah.
Jalen Brooks, exactly. And we still have Dennis Houston, where Doug had, at least in the preseason, he had a good connection to him. Yeah, it's not ideal, but we are talking about 4, 5, 6. And then I have a feeling like for running backs, you can always get a receiver on the market that can be a number 4 or 5. Like last year, T.Y. Hilton. At his second or third game, he looked more like wide receiver number 2. And he came from an ACL out of nowhere, and he's old. So I guess a number 4, even if it's not turning out, you can easily get on the market. And there are some names out there. Yeah,
it's true.
Okay. So Thomas, what made you book a ticket for the Dallas Cowboys Thanksgiving game this year, and how did you find out that you will not be the only one, but you quickly found a travel mate there?
I've seen that Paul is looking for some other guys from other countries to go to the Thanksgiving game. So I asked my wife. She said, yes, go. So I booked the trip, and I'm happy to meet you guys.
We cannot
That's
wait.
right.
We
So we
cannot
will have
wait.
fun in the plane.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yeah. You're on the same flight. That's right. I
Sure.
forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait. Like, we're definitely going to have some beers at the airport for sure.
Yeah. The trick is for that flight is to get drunk before you get on the plane, so you sleep through the whole flight.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, last year I flight from London to Chicago, and I've been in the A380. So it's better to be not drunk. So it's fun with this plane. So maybe we
that
have
plane
the
is
same.
just a beast.
It's really beast.
And the good thing about these flights, there is complimentary drinks on the flight as well. So and you've got your own little television to watch.
True. Oh.
So you're always trying to organize these trips for the Thanksgiving game, or is this a one-time thing for the UK Cowboys?
This is the first time we've organized for a whole group idea, and depending how it goes, we do want to do it again. We will do it again. It all depends how. This is like our little tester to see how it goes. And all the guys over on the Dallas Cowboys media, Paul will tell you, they're quite interested to see how it goes as well. They've put their little ideas into it all, and they, Paul. Oh, he's frozen, I think.
Yeah, I think he's kind of frozen. And unfortunately, I also, when I saw this, I thought, well, I have to be on that trip. But unfortunately, I have to work on over Thanksgiving in Germany. This is a working week. We don't have a holiday there, so unfortunately, I couldn't make it. But I will definitely look into it in the coming years if we are able to organize something again. And then
we'll do it again for sure.
100%.
That's great. I think that's also for Thanksgiving, because we always know there will be a home game in Dallas. That's a perfect spot to look for the game. And maybe for 1 year we can also ask Philip to move his regular family visit to November, or to do a second trip in the year. Or do we have to bribe your wife, Philip?
I don't know. I mean, when I saw what Paul put up on social with the trip this year, fuck me, because it was like I put in my vacation time. And I was like, man, I want to go there so bad. And then I asked my girlfriend, and she was like, nope, you go. It's fine, but next year maybe we can talk about that. But I mean, I'll be there against the Patriots. I'm gonna burn that motherfucking stadium to the ground. So when you guys come, there won't be anything left for you. So I'm gonna drink all the Cowboy Ritas, mash up the place with J-Tuck, and then we'll see.
Well, Philip, you have to get married, because then she will let you go.
No.
Yeah. Right now she's your girlfriend, but if she is a wife, she will say, yes, go. Let me alone, but go.
When we get married, she's gonna take all my money and put it in her. Like that.
You have to save some money. That's the thing I do.
There's a wee trick, secret bank account. There we go.
But I mean, like we'll be at the live as well. Me and Paul will be online doing a show from the meet and greet on Thanksgiving on the Wednesday, and that looks loads of fun. Like the guys they've got lined up for that, the players. I mean, oh my God, they even have a live turkey just walking around, as you do.
I mean, I was last year at that. What was it? The experience meet and greet.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty strange, because it was like an Oktoberfest kind of thing mixed with a meet and greet with like Sam Williams and
because the game last year there was Tyler Smith, Sam Williams for one of the days, and on the other
Jay Novacek.
Yeah. And it was so strange, because like I saw all these like weird, I think they thought that's how dirndls look like, the Bavarian costumes, like the lederhosen and shit. Like it looked awkward. And then they had that horse turned unicorn thing running around there. And then you saw it was great, and I'm pretty sure you guys gonna experience something like that too, because I mean, I know that you guys are pretty good with the experienced guys over there.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be lit for you.
I tell you what we want to do, and me and Paul have talked about this, is we definitely want to do a game where we come and watch whatever it is over in Germany. We keep saying that we're going to do it. And it's something we got to do, innit, Paul?
Yeah, I've always wanted to go to Germany.
Yeah,
you guys have to come.
Yeah, we want to.
Definitely. And maybe we can even catch a NFL game, even if maybe it's not the Cowboys. I guess they will do their first international game in Mexico. So
that's what it'll be.
But maybe sometime we get lucky, or if there's a game in Wembley again. The Cowboys have been there, if the schedule is lucky for us, we'll definitely have to do this and do a German UK meet and greet.
Oh yeah, definitely.
100%.
Yeah. Lots of beer.
Lots of beer. Yep. But for the crowd outside, because you just mentioned you're doing an interview live session during the Thanksgiving game. So give these guys a follow if you see the video, because then you get these great content. And you're also doing an interview with Sam Williams tonight or tomorrow night. When is that?
Tonight. Yeah, tonight. Yeah, and also Preston Pearson as well.
Mm-hmm. We was supposed to speak to him last week, but
he was having issues with his webcam. So
he's a very nice man. He's from the older Dallas generation. For those who don't know him, Google him up, because he had a pretty interesting career as well. And I think last year he released a new book. So for those who want to learn about some Cowboys history, look it up on, I think, Amazon or so. You should be able to find it.
Yeah, I mean, he was the main running back before Tony Dorsett, and then he was the backup to Tony Dorsett. So there you go.
Yeah, not to mention he is a 2-time Super Bowl champion, not with the Cowboys, but also with the Steelers as well.
Steelers, yeah.
And I think, if I recall, he's the only other guy that's actually an NFL champion as well.
Right.
Mm. Yeah. I mean, they changed the game.
Yeah.
They changed the game because of the way he played.
Yeah, definitely. Like 1969, he did that. Then he won it, and I think it was the last Super Bowl was 74 with the Steelers, and it was 19 or whatever it was for the Cowboys.
77.
77. Thank you, Mike.
Like a double act, Jeremy.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I'm really envying Thomas here that he's able to fly with you on Thanksgiving to Dallas. I hope you have a really great time. Anything you want to add to this show?
We just love what you guys are doing. We love it. It's always great to see it.
Yeah, we just want to say Dankeschön. We just want to say thank you. Yeah, so we just want to thank you guys having us on. And yeah, it just shows not just America. Oh, did I just freeze up again?
No, you're good. You go.
All right. Yeah, I just want to say thanks to you guys, because it just comes to show that it's not just America. We've got yourselves here in Germany, ourselves here in the UK. We've got the guys from Spain. We've got the guys in Canada, all creating Ireland as well. We can't forget those guys as well. So yeah, it really shows you that it's more than America's team right now.
Yeah, and it is cool, you know, like when you see all the different groups and they, like, you know, we've been doing a little podcast and we see yours popping up and it's like, yes, come on, keep it going. You want to see more with different people from different countries and nations. Because at the end of the day, it's like it's the ultimate unifier. Because like we would never be talking if it wasn't for the Cowboys. And here we are being friends, chatting away, talking about going on flights together to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, we love following you because it's not easy to get too many information in German about the Cowboys. So we have to look out for great information, and blogging the boys really is a good point to reach out, because you're doing one fantastic thing. You collect the information also from other outlets, from ESPN, CBS, whatever. You can find the information on the Blogging the Boys website. So for our listeners out there, give it a try. Look it up, Blogging the Boys, Dallas Cowboys. You will easily find it on Google. And they are collecting the information from Twitter, from the sports outlets, so that you are informed about the Dallas Cowboys. And the guys you have here on camera, they are also writing articles for Blogging the Boys. So we are bringing the news to you here.
Yeah, and thank you as well for following us. And we see your names popping up all the time when we put articles out. You see the likes, and the comments is like, wow, this is so cool.
Yeah.
Honestly,
always trying to spread the good news around.
Absolutely. But once again, guys, thanks for having us, man. It's been an absolute honor to be here.
Yeah.
It's been an honor for us that you took your time and do this show with us, helping educate the Dallas Cowboys fans in Germany as well, and taking this time when you have the second show with real Dallas Cowboys players and a Dallas Cowboys legend. We are so honored that you took your time, and I had a blast talking to you guys about tactics, about our fandom. It's fantastic. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, and we would definitely love to have you on our show as well, even like post game or pre game, whenever the season goes along. So yeah, just hit us up. We can always like come back on with you guys, etc. So it's open collaboration.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So from our side, Thomas, Philip, do you have anything to add?
No, I think you pretty much said it all. I mean, from my side, thank you guys so much for coming on the show. It was great to finally see you in person, talk to you.
It's a long time coming.
A long time coming, exactly. But I'm very thankful that it happened today, and I'm looking forward what comes in the future for all of us.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and see you in November.
Yes, we'll see you in November, Thomas. We cannot wait.
Perfect final word. Perfect final word. So for all the listeners out there on from the Cowboys Nation for this Cowboys Corner, thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed it as much as we did, and we are hoping to present these guys, Michael and Philip here. And Paul here again on the show when it comes to the season time. Hope you join in again. Thanks for watching.